Anne Frank. Life about hiding in World War II. Who was Anne Frank? Anne was an ordinary girl with an extraordinary talent who faced the hardships of her short life with courage and good humor. As a young girl during the Second World War, she and her family had to go in hiding from Nazis who wanted to kill Jews like her. Anne managed to hide in an annex for over 2 years throughout this time and kept a diary of everything that happened. It is one of most respected book of all times. Anne died at the age of 15, but she is well known because of her diary that was being published. For the Jewish people, this diary is an inspiration. Anne's beginnings. Born on June 12, 1929 in Frankfurt am Main in Germany. The Jewish Franks family had lived there from generations. In 1933, when Hitler came to power, life for Jewish people changed quickly afterwards. As Hitler was a Christian, he believed that Jews killed Jesus, thus he formed the Nazi Party and provoked them to kill the Jews. While Anne and family had moved to Amsterdam in Netherlands. A world at war. 6 years later, on September 1, 1939, Nazi attacked Poland and provoked Great Britain to declare war on September 3, 1939. The two sides were known as Allied powers and Axis powers. While Anne and her family were well settled in Amsterdam. 13th birthday. On Anne's 13th birthday, she received a diary. In her first entry, she calls it as one of my nicest presents. It was just like a friend to her. But she did not know that it was an inspirational gift to the world. I hope I will be able to confide everything to you as I have never been able to confide in anyone, and I hope you will be a source of comfort and support. The name of her diary was Kitty. Leaving Amsterdam. Conditions for Jews were becoming poor and Anne's family decided to move to United States. They kept their plans as a secret from Margot and sister and Anne. School time. In addition to the war, Anne and her friends worried about exams. Would they pass or not? As long as I am healthy and happy, they are satisfied. My essay was on 2 baby ducklings bitten to death by the father because they quaked too much. Her teacher told her to write an essay on Mistress Chatterback. The ways by which Nazis killed Jews.
Labor camps. Concentration camps.
Labor camps. In July 1942, Margot got an order by the government to report at labor camp, but by this time the Jews were knowing that these notices were very dangerous. Many Jewish people were taken there. The conditions in the camps were inhuman. The Nazis forced Jews to do physical work without water or food, thus they died due to weakness and starvation. Basically, killing Jews indirectly.
Concentration camps.
The Nazis brought Jews to these camps to perform Holocaust. Holocaust. The Nazis brought Jews to perform Holocaust, where they told them to bath in the water filled with poisonous acid that killed the people who took a bath in it. Hiding in the annex. Otto, Edith, Anne's parents, and Margot prepared to leave for hiding. The whole family wore several layers as if to carry as much as they could. A home behind a bookcase. They lived above Otto's office building, their door hid behind a bookcase. Total of 8 people lived in one house containing 1 bathroom, 2 bedrooms and 1 kitchen. Sometimes they could not even flush so that no one could ever notice about them, quiet and safe. When the workers went back home, one of them would go to the radio and listen to the news. Annex was dark as they closed all doors and windows so that nobody could notice. They used to read so that no noise could travel downstairs. While Anne and Margot also took different courses. Food. At first they had enough food, but after months they ate only endive but with different forms. The helpers. Everyone in the annex was always keen to know what was happening in the outside world. Also, they would have to get daily supplies like soap, food, papers and books to read. All these things were bought to them by their helpers. It was a very difficult job for them, risking their own lives to save theirs sometimes, and wrote about how grateful she felt for them. These were some helpers. The Discover Game. People who were discovered to be helping the Jews were arrested and sometimes even killed. They recognized that it was vital to make a stand against Hitler, so the helpers weren't able to help the people in hiding for some time, but still they managed to stay in hiding without the helpers. They would stay still and silent so that no one could discover them. Rewriting the diary. On radio broadcast, they asked people to keep records of the German occupation in Netherlands, including diaries. After hearing this, and rewrote her diary in a way which it could be published when the war had ended. She managed to fill 200 sheets of paper in 78 days, as she wished to be a journalist and later on a writer. And wrote other things as well in her diary, such as short stories, jokes and special quotes. Anne's diary was something to which she could share all her worries. Writing was her comfort. End of the war, end of hiding. In summer of 1944, a news was on that Allies are nearly winning from Axis powers and the war was on its end. Although the war was on its end, the luck for those in the hiding had run off. On August 4, a group of Nazis arrived to make their way to the annex. One of the helpers had betrayed them, but no one could find out who. They were arrested and sent to prison before they were sent to labor camps at first, and Margot and their mother were sent to the same camp in Poland and were made to do hard physical work without food. But in October the two sisters were taken away. Their mother never knew where they had been taken, and eventually in January 1945 she died due to illness. Anne and Margot caught a disease named typhus and died in early March. Discovery. Eventually Otto survived and was released on January 27. One of the helpers gave him the Anne's diary. He was astonished to see Anne's thoughtful and inspiring words, and thus he published it. He lived to see and becoming a famous writer. It gave him a purpose. After this, movies and shows were made on the story. I want to be useful or bring enjoyment to all people, even those I've never met. I want to go on living even after my death. Thank you.